guys, welcome back to Over Easy Acres. We are a family of 6 living in southern Idaho, and we recently moved to our dream house and property that has 11.5 acres, and we're hoping to use all this space for planting and animals. Now, we just moved in not too long ago, so we don't really have anything on here except for chickens. But I'm very excited about the little things that I have planted, and most of them have just come from things that I already had as scraps in my kitchen, and I just love doing such things like that. So right here, I don't know if you can kind of see, but I'll just tell you what I have going. I have green onions that are just growing back from onions that I had bought at the store, and I just saved the ends and I plunked them in, and so they're growing. I have bell peppers here that are growing from seeds, again, that I got from a bell pepper at the store, an organic bell pepper, and so I just kept the seeds. And I also have 2 little lemons. I don't know, can you see those? Yeah, here's one and here's one. From when we went on vacation to California, we picked lemons and I saved the seeds, and so they're coming up. And I also saved an orange seed, and it has not come up yet, so I don't know if that's good or it's still just thinking about it. But I have something else to show you, that if you are guilty of buying things and then not using them all up, you can repurpose them for plants. So come on inside and I'll show you what I have growing. I mean, what I have going. Okay, we're inside, you might be able to see better. And here is my bag of intentions. Now, these are organic russet potatoes. I buy potatoes on occasion, and then I don't actually use them. I don't know, this is a horrible trait of mine, because I don't know, they just look kind of gross sitting there in the bag. And so you can see now what has happened is that they're starting to come out and get me. However, the first thing I ever grew was potatoes, because again, I bought potatoes and I forgot to eat them. So today I'm going to teach you how to plant potatoes, which is fitting because we're here in Idaho in the potato state. Look at that. Blah. Gross. So this one has been sitting in my cupboard for a while, and you can see its eyes have grown and it looks like some creepy little monster.
It looks like a parachute.
Does it?
It looks like a scary wild animal in a box.
Yeah, it looks kind of gross. Okay, so when you want to plant potatoes, now the first time I did this, I just simply cut them up according to the instructions and I stuck them in the ground, and you know what? They grew great. But I have since learned that you want to let them, okay, well, I can't remember the word right now. I'll think of it. But anyway, you want to cut off the eyes. So these are obviously very large ones, but as you can maybe see, here is a very small one. Here's another small one, another small one. Yep. And so we're going to cut these so that they have the eyes with them. So I'm just going to let them dry upside down. So I'm going to have the potato side showing, and I'm going to put these on my tray, and I'm going to let them dry out overnight, and that just helps, so I've heard, the potato not to rot when you plant it. But like I said, the first time I ever did this, I actually did great, and all I did was just chop up the bag because we were doing a homeschool unit, and that day we needed to plant something, and so this is what I found, and they worked just fine anyways if you don't let them harden off. Now I don't see any more eyes on this one, so that one's done.
That one is done.
Oh, look at this one.
Oh, can I see? Oh, that's scared. That's like a
Okay, so yep, I'm just making cuts around it. I'm trying to leave about 1 inch of the potato with it. So you can see it's about like this.
Okay. Oh, that weird. That's strange. Looks like a beetle poke. I have no idea what that is.
Okay, and I'm just gonna cut these all up, and then I'll show you what I've got. Outside here turn around this way. In the sun for right now, and then I'll probably bring them in tonight. Well, I'll check the temperatures. We've still been getting a little bit low at night, sometimes in the 30s, but I think this week's supposed to be in the 40s, so they might be okay outside. The beautiful thing about potatoes is that you can grow them anywhere. You can grow them in bags, you can grow them in the ground, you can grow them in planter boxes, raised beds, like it doesn't matter. They're not really picky, so they're a perfect first food to try to grow. They take about 90 to 120 days though, depending on your temperature in your area, so you kind of want to get them like late spring. I mean, but I've planted them at different times when I didn't know what I was doing. And so you just want to check your last frost date, because once it frosts, they will die. It will kill the plant. And so you want to make sure that you're at least 120 days from your last frost date. But I mean, no fear of that right now in the spring. They're not cold tolerant. So. But anyway, I'm just gonna leave my little tray right here. They'll callus over and that will help prevent rot. And then tomorrow we'll start planting. So it's evening of the next night and we just had a few minutes, so we dashed out to dig a trench to put in these potatoes that are nice and hardened off, and they've calloused and they're dry and they're just ready to be put into the ground. We haven't figured out quite the irrigation system, so we're putting these potatoes between two trees that we planted, between apple trees, and you can see that big patch of grass there. It seems like there must be water leaking from the irrigation pipe, so we thought this was a good place to put the potatoes because it'd be a little bit more moist. I'm going to add in a little bit of water though, just to make sure that there's enough moisture for these potatoes because they're pretty dried out. Now I'm going to stick them down, put them down with their eyes facing up. I'm spacing them about 4 to 5 inches apart. Here we're adding some organic potting soil to the top. You want to cover the potatoes completely. It's okay if they've already started to sprout and you see those eyes. You can just go ahead and cover them completely up because they're still going to grow up. We're adding this soil. We thought it had a little bit better nutritional content for the potatoes just because we don't know what kind of soil that we're dealing with here. It seems like it's a little bit almost like clay. It's very dry and silty. Here's our second row, just going along, putting a nice layer on top. We'll continue to cover them as they start to grow to keep all of the tops under the soil. We're back. It is 3.5 weeks later, and I wanted to show you the progress on the potatoes, my good intentions that I planted, because I'm excited about what I'm seeing. So I'll turn you around and I'll show you what I've got going here. All right, here we are. I don't know if I showed you this, it's been so long. Those were some green onions that I put in from just ends that I had cut up from food prep. Here's another one, looks like it may have been eaten by something, but here are my potatoes. So here's the whole trench of these potatoes. I planted another one over here, and I think they're coming up too. Oh yeah, you can see them. Here they are, lots coming up. So I'm so happy that those potatoes that otherwise would have gone into the trash can now become dinner in however long it takes to grow a potato. But potatoes are really fun because you can watch their progress and then you get to dig them up when they're done. Okay, so that's it for the potato post. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspired you to grow potatoes. If you have any tips or tricks, please pass them on or leave them down in the comments for other people to read. I love learning new ways and better ways to do things. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.